That was Scour and Siak with Tornado. Welcome to the Rise Weekly Review for June 6th to June 13th, 2022. Before we begin this week in review, police and family members are looking for a missing man. 66-year-old Doran Ellison was last seen on May 7th near East End on 71st Street. He is described as 5'6" and 180 pounds with brown eyes and black hair. Anyone with information is asked to contact police. And now, the news. A 15-year-old was killed on Friday in a shooting in the Bush Heights. Around 5:40 a.m., 15-year-old Isaiah Bolding Jr. was found on the 8000 block of South Houston. Bolding was found with a gunshot wound to the head and pronounced dead at the scene. No further information has been reported on the shooting. Anyone with information on this or other Chicago crimes is asked to call 311 or leave an anonymous tip at cpdtip.com. A 22-year-old was shot to death on Tuesday in South Shore. According to reports, the young man, identified as Deontay Hall, was on the sidewalk of the 7100 block of East End around 2 p.m. He was struck by gunfire in the back and chest. He was taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center, where he passed away from his injuries. A 44-year-old was wounded in a shooting in Stag Valley late Sunday evening, early Monday morning. According to reports, around 12:17 a.m., this 44-year-old man was on the sidewalk on the 9900 block of Commercial. An unknown male approached him on foot and fired shots. The Chicago Fire Department took the man to Trinity Hospital, where he had a gunshot wound to the left hand. He was reported in good condition. An 18-year-old was shot near the South Shore border on Sunday. Around 2 a.m., the teen was walking on the street when he heard gunshots and began feeling pain. He was hit on the right side of the chest. An unknown person drove him to Jackson Park Hospital, where he was last reported in critical condition. A man was injured after confronting a man in Jeffrey Manor on Monday the 13th. According to police, the 54-year-old confronted the man who entered his home, and a verbal argument between the two turned physical. Police say the 54-year-old attempted to flee the scene when the other person pulled out a gun and began firing shots at them. The man was hit in the back and right side of his torso. He was taken to Christ Hospital and last listed in stable condition. A man that was killed in a mass shooting last week in South Deering has been identified. 40-year-old Antonio Lamar Tolliver, also known as Tone, was shot along with two others while sitting out on a porch on 103rd and Calhoun in South Deering. After the shooting, Tone was taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center, where he passed away from his injuries. Tone was a graduate of Corliss and was a father to 7 children. He worked at a warehouse as a laborer and was remembered as a grill master who would make up raps and loved music. Over the weekend, a memorial for Tone was held at Callahan Funeral Home Legacy Center in Becks Park. An East Side man was charged during the week with a string of armed robberies on the North Side. According to police, 35-year-old Andre Gonzalez used a machete to threaten victims on the North Side around Logan Square and Irving Park into giving them their belongings. Detectives claimed Gonzalez was tracked after he used a stolen credit card at a liquor store. Surveillance video showed his car and license plate, and police also were able to recognize the tattoos on his face.
May 27th, Gonzalez went on a crime spree that lasted 9 days. This investigation, even though he's being charged with the incidents I just recounted, to look at possible other related robberies that he may have been involved in.
Gonzalez was recognized by 3 victims in a lineup. Gonzalez, who lives on 107th and Avenue C, was arrested on 100th Street. According to his defense attorney, Gonzalez lives with his girlfriend and has 4 children. He claims the attacks happened quickly at night and there were no videos of the attack nor any machete or proceeds from the robberies recovered by police. A judge has denied bail from Gonzalez due to past robber convictions and a pending identity theft case. 2 separate semi-truck crashes on I-80-94 caused severe traffic disruptions on Monday the 13th. A semi overturned on the eastbound I-80-94. The truck turned on its side, blocking all lanes before US 41 Calumet Avenue exit. In another crash around 3:45 a.m. on I-80-94 near Klein Avenue, a truck was carrying 32,000 pounds of concrete pipes hit a wall in the eastbound lane. The crash left one lane blocked, and authorities moved the truck to the exit ramp and brought another to carry the load. Illinois State Representative and Calumet City Mayor Thaddeus Jones declared the city in a local state of emergency during the week. Jones, with the unanimous approval of the City Council, made the declaration after the high-rise fire on May 30th at the Park Condominium Complex left nearly 200 residents displaced. The fire, which resulted in the death of an 85-year-old woman, injured 7 others, including 3 firefighters, was possibly started from a propane tank explosion after a barbecue. The state of emergency will allow the mayor to access government resources that can provide the residents with short and long-term assistance as they attempt to recover from their losses. According to the Chicago Crusader, the mayor has worked to help find lodging, at local hotels for residents displaced by the fire. During the week, news broke about a proposed relocation of the Masflow concert planned for Calumet Park on Chicago's east side in July. Organizers were considering relocating the event from Calumet Park to McKinley Park near Brighton Park and back of the yards over transportation concerns. After hearing reports of the proposed relocation, 12th Ward residents flooded Alderman George Cardenas' office and social media with concerns about the relocation. Residents were concerned over problems and issues related to potential crime and violence. Organizers were considering the move after concertgoers raised concerns over transportation issues. Organizers have since said the event will not be moved to McKinley Park and remain at Calumet Park. They have offered to increase parking options and provide shuttle buses for transportation, in addition to continuing to explore other venue options. The event is set to kick off on July 15th. During the week, the Southeast Side chapter of the Brown Beret National Organization and White Panthers from Northwest Indiana joined representatives from the original Black Panthers in an event honoring the Young Lords and founding members Jose Cha Cha Jimenez, Tony Baez, Omar Lopez, and others. The Young Lords was founded in gentrifying Lincoln Park of the 1960s. The group initially formed to defend Puerto Rican residents from racist attacks by white gentrifiers and eventually organized against the city's urban revitalization, which caused the gentrification and mass Puerto Rican displacement.
The Young Lords really led the fight and the struggle against gentrification. And it really is that fight and struggle that really set the model for communities all around Chicago and all around the country as to what it takes and what you have to do to be able to win the battle against the malicious forces of gentrification.
According to Cha Cha Jimenez, the gentrification efforts were part of a plan by Mayor Richard J. Daley to segregate people further and claim the lakefront for wealthy white residents. During the event, leaders discussed the history of the Young Lords and efforts by groups. The event, which was organized by the New Era Young Lords, included music, poetry, and dancing and was held at the Little Cubs Field in Humboldt Park. Several groups representing the original Rainbow Coalition came in from throughout the country to attend the event. This included Black Panthers Billy Che Brooks and the son of Fred Hampton Jr. Hyde Thurman of the Young Patriots also attended the event. Eastside resident and leader of the Southeast Side chapter of the Brown Beret National Organization, Anthony Martinez, was also in attendance. Subi Toro, the founder of the New Era Young Lords, was also in attendance. During the event, the original Young Lords founders announced the passing of the torch to the New Era Young Lords, who will now continue their work.
¡Que viva Puerto Rico!
It's an honor and a pleasure to be here standing amongst the Central Committee of the Young Lords organization to be a part of this historic event. And to be honest, I'm just happy to see all these faces, all these different groups and organizations standing together for a cause. This is what the dream was. This is what they started back in the 60s and that we're continuing to do here in our present time. This is inspirational, and if there's anything that I want anybody to take away from this, is that all of you here are revolutionary now. Your mind is open. You're here learning and listening to many different ideologies and many different people, but we're fighting for one cause. We're fighting for the oppression that we face as a people, as a class, as a community. And all of you right now are part of that struggle. All of you right now are a part of this movement and a part of this history.
In other news, early voting is now open in all of Chicago's 50 wards for the Illinois primaries. A voter may vote at any early voting site no matter where they live in Chicago. Early voting locations will be open at vote centers on Election Day, June 28, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. The primary elections will allow voters to choose which candidates will represent which political party going into the general elections on November 8th. The general elections will decide which candidates will hold various state offices, including for Illinois governor. And finally, the Chicago Public Schools will be holding a job fair on Wednesday, June 15th, between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. at Malcolm X College. The event will be hosted in the gymnasium at the college located on 1900 West Jackson Boulevard. CPS will be looking to fill full-time and part-time positions throughout Chicago. A mask is required for entry into the event. To register for the event, you can visit the following web address: bit.ly/capital CPS, capital J, lowercase ob, capital F, lowercase a, IR 61522. You can also apply for positions online at www.cps.edu/careers. And that ends our weekly review for June 6th to June 13th, 2022. Thank you for joining us for this week in review. Peace.